Okay, now we've got a little entertainment too. Uh, Dave Kephart. Come on up, Dave. I'm going to introduce our next inductee. A lot of Auburn Braves out here tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good evening, everybody. I just wanted to congratulate the 2021 Hall of Famers and also acknowledge those that preceded them and those that are going to be introduced tonight for next year. Correct? All right. So it's my privilege to introduce this member of the 21 class of the Hall of Fame, Scott Reeves. A great teammate, a player, and a friend to many. And as I thought about Scott today, and I think about John Daly every day, I think the similarities are very striking. Guys that can play any position, guys that are really good friends in the end, and a guy who is liked by everybody he comes into contact with, even me. But it's a tribute to Scott and players like John and Scott that are unselfish, and they're total team guys that make managers and coaches and teammates' job a real pleasure, and particularly the post-game wrap-up in the parking lot by where the excursion's parked. There's always been some interesting banter out there, of course. And Phil, the game's never over, so don't tell the Braves to go home, because it's never really over, all right? I'm just saying. Scott's been in the league since 1990, and it was mentioned in the program that he started with the original Rockland Royals, of which he's the only remaining player left. A testimony to your endurance and your fortitude and just being a great baseball player, Scott. And from there, he played on many teams, including the Giants, the Mets, the Rangers, the Braves, the Buzzards, and the Pirates in both night and Sunday leagues. Scott's also a three-time World Series champ, being an integral part of the Auburn Braves in back-to-back championships in Phoenix in 2015, 2016, and the Sacramento Royals in 16, I believe. And during that tournament with the Royals, Scott was the MVP of the World Series, as voted on by our Royals team, and it was well-deserved. Okay. Scott has managed the Braves for the last couple of years, and of course helped Mike and I out prior to that with valuable input, and again, just giving of himself to help the entire team. And he also coached a couple father-son Father's Day tournaments here in the Sacramento leagues. And I mean, like I said, he's always been, and he led the Braves to a division championship last year in his rookie division, or rookie year as our head coach. So, hey, that was an awesome job. Way to go, Scotty. He's the Swiss Army knife and the ultimate utility player. But his nickname is Donut. I'm sure everybody knows him as Donut. So there is a little story behind that. So in the early days of the Braves, his post-game snack were the Hostess donuts and a chocolate milk. And powdered or the waxy chocolate ones or the crumb ones, it didn't matter. He was on that. So we started calling him Donut. One day he decided Donut's not really a badass nickname. So one of the unwritten rules in life and baseball particularly is you don't give yourself your own nickname. he decided that he wanted to have a badass nickname. He wanted to be T-Bone. So we're at James Field one night. Troy Nagosic. Scotty goes up to the plate. And he goes, "Come on, Teabag." And we all started laughing, so we started calling him Teabag. And then that night in the parking lot, over donuts and chocolate milk and beers, etc., he said, all right, I'll take donut." And that's where it ends, right there. So, one other little, just Scott sometimes overlooks the obvious things. And it's probably, you know how all geniuses, they sometimes don't have all the common sense in the world. And he's got a crazy little mind. And he's kind of a genius. But then 3 years ago, we were caravanning down to Arizona. So Bobby Wooden and I were in my vehicle. And Kevin Kranz and Scotty were in his, I don't know, he'd had this car for 3 or 4 years. So we called back and forth and said, hey, let's get something to eat in Palm Springs, stop there. So we did. And he had been complaining about the fatigue of driving to Arizona, right? So I said, what about cruise control? I said, what's that? I don't think I have it. So Kranz, in 2 minutes, when we hit the road again, got his cruise control up and running. He goes, God, this is fantastic. This is like the best thing ever. Science. Amazing. So please join me in welcoming to the 21 class of the Sacramento Men's Senior Baseball Hall of Fame, Scott Reeves.
I forgot about the cruise control story. Holy cow. Oh, okay. God, I can't stop laughing. I thought I was going to be crying. I can't stop laughing. First, I'd like to thank the voting committee very much. It's a big, huge honor to be inducted. And I'd like to thank Alan especially for running this league, because as everyone knows and has said a million times, we are so fortunate to have this venue. We just all love baseball. I'd like to thank all of my previous managers, especially the late great Pete Snyder, Gary for coaching a few teams I've been on, and Jim Tigrat for coaching, and especially Mike Baker. I would like to thank my family for supporting me through all this. I have my daughter Erica here today and my son Wilson, and I'm going to call her my wife, Jan. The gal with very little filter. And we've all got our little story on how we started. I was watching a Little League All-Star practice at Tri-City Little League in Rockland. Looked over my shoulder, saw Pete Snyder with about 5 other guys. Walked over there and said, what the heck are you guys doing? We're putting together this team to play in this league in Sacramento. Went home, got my cleats and glove, came back. Been here ever since. And like I said, I love baseball, and a lot of times people will say, like, don't let that define you. That's normally when you hear that. This defines me. There comes the crying.
Come on, you big galoot. You can do this. Damn it. You're all right, buddy.
God damn it. Okay. Hopefully I can mumble through this.
Come on, teabag, let's go.
Because I would be remiss on not mentioning my friend and brother, JD. I miss him and his terrible jokes. I couldn't believe it when his cousin said that at the eulogy. I thought I was the only one. And John would just, and he would laugh so hard at all of his jokes. It was just, and you never, and I was like, you can't say anything to him. She's laughing so hard. The things I missed about him, John and I would do this weird thing where we would do all the research on all the other teams we were going to play. We would get all their records. We would call each other. And then if somebody said, hey, what about this team? And somebody else would go ask JD or Donut. They'll know. Starting in 15, we started this 3-catcher deal on our Braves team. First, it started out with JD, I, and Jim Milligan. Then it went to Daly, Reeves, and Latola. And we loved that system. Absolutely loved it. We had no egos. It didn't matter who caught one game. We all just rotated it. And I'm really going to miss that this year. And then we would talk earlier about really wanting to get into the Hall of Fame. So when I got the call, which is like one of those moments I remember where I was, and I asked who else made it. And one, I love our class. I think it's a cool class. The first person I called was JD. And he said one of the first things he asked was if I made it. Didn't ask me, he asked Tigret if I made it, because it was not going to be okay with him if I didn't make it with him. So, we're going to do something a little different here tonight. Do my little tribute to John. And because of his love of singing, I forgot to bring my phone up with me. Wilson, hurry up. I was going to have my daughter sing a song in tribute to JD. It's my daughter, Erica.
Okay, so I guess I'm doing this a cappella. Please don't judge me. Unless it's positive, and that's fine. Okay. The road is long, with many a winding turn that leads us to who knows where, who knows where. But I'm strong, strong enough to carry him. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. So on we go. His welfare is my concern. No burden is he to bear. We'll get there. For I know he would not encumber me. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. if I'm leading at all, I'm leading with sadness that everyone's heart isn't filled with the gladness of love for one another. It's a long, long road from which there is no return. While we're on the way to there, why not share? And the load doesn't bring me down at all. He ain't heavy, he's my brother.
How about that?